But you never know that you could. And when you feel that way, ain't it good, good dancing in the red and gold. Dancing in the red and gold.
This is the 49er Faithful UK show, and we are live once again. It's a new league year, which can mean only one thing. It's the 9th season of the 49er Faithful UK podcast. Wow, how about that? I'm Gareth Ellis, and to mark the occasion, all three of the guys are here. They are more reliable than a Ravens trade offer. They are more handsome than Jimmy G in a tux. And they are considerably cheaper than Joanne Jennings. It is Paul Hope.
What's up, Faithful?
It's Lee Gowland.
Hey, fellas, how we doing?
And it's Najee Kawhi.
Hello, everyone. Oh, hello, Michael.
Good evening, good evening. And good evening to viewers as well. How are we
Hey,
doing,
Colin.
lad?
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, not bad.
Pretty good.
Not bad, mate.
Pretty good.
Good, good. Slightly rushed, as I forgot about the early start. Apologies for that. But, seamless. We know what we're doing after 7 seasons.
Well, I don't know
whatever.
if you saw that George Kittle has been on with Bussin' with the boys, and they put a tweet out to say that every show they do with George is unprepared, rabbit holes galore. And I was like,
Oh,
have
I
they
saw
stole
that.
our script? Have they
Yeah.
stole our script, Gareth?
Well,
Yeah.
that's it. Trailblazers. Have you lads enjoyed the free agency frenzy? That's what I guess we're going to be talking about.
It's been
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Snap grades then. Come on, everyone's doing it.
Oof.
Ooh.
Paul, you're looking like you've got something to say.
Well, we're just saying, chaps, Lee wasn't here with us last week, and we said that the Niners might make one or two signings after we ended the show. And they did make one or two
One or two
signings. And what's quite interesting, everybody, is the buzz on social media, Gareth, is that the Niners aren't finished yet. We've done some pretty good business. I don't know about you three fine gentlemen, but I'm feeling quite content at the moment. We haven't made a splashy signing, as in threw a load of money at someone, but we've kind of plugged some holes and we've made some astute signings. And yes, everyone, there's a name that I have to be practicing, but we're not doing it just yet. You have to watch later on.
Give me a grade then. Give me a grade. You seem like a happy man.
I'm going to say a solid B at the moment.
Oh,
I think
come
there's room
on.
to improve,
Oh,
you-
but, you know, yeah.
Najee's outraged. Look at him.
B? Wait, what? We just signed crazy. A
Well,
plus.
what did you
It's
go
been
for,
a-
Najee? Did you say A?
Yeah, A plus. It's been amazing. I mean,
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going for a D minus. They didn't sign Linderbaum. I just can't get over it.
for $27 million.
Oh, hang on. I'm going to do a Ravens. I'm going to withdraw that grade and I'm going to join Najee and it's in A.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm going to go for an A minus. I think obviously
That's
they've
fair.
picked players up of positions of weakness that we have. So I think it's got to be an A minus because it's put us in a really good position to enter the draft now.
So what was your grade, Lee?
A minus.
A minus. I think I was a B before when it was just Mike Evans
Just
and
Mike Evans, yeah.
for Darian. I've gone up. I think I think an A minus or B plus.
Come on.
My concern is our collection of aging receivers. That's it. I'm very pleased with the Osa. Waiting for Paul.
Think he's
But
doing-
the Osa,
Ooh, look at that.
trade. Very
Look at
happy with that.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean, that's
And
what.
John Weeks and punter. We got a new punter as well. A new punter
Yeah,
in
we
the
do.
building.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
Lefty as
evening,
well.
Ty. Good to see you as well.
You
Well,
wanna
happy
do it early
lunchtime.
on?
Good
What is it?
afternoon.
Use Udig Izuwa.
Udig
According to
Izuwa.
chat GTP.
Udig
But,
Izuwa.
I have been practicing that
Izuwa.
one.
It's
getting
actually
some funny
very
looks
easy.
at work, so,
Let's
It's one of
Yeah,
the
let's start
easiest
with him.
ones to say.
let's start with him. It was obviously a trade. 3rd round pick. You happy with that?
Yeah, he's 28. He's amazing.
He signed a reasonable deal for his position, I think. So we've got him at that cost as well.
Well, I think the Cowboys are eating some of that first year.
That's what
and
I mean.
then, and then the next 2 years aren't guaranteed for some reason, because that's why he signed, I guess. So we don't. It doesn't even like, even if it's not good, it doesn't. It's gonna cost us $16 million for 20-year-old D tackle that missed one game since he's entered the league. Like, this is incredible. Like, I'm listening to a lot of podcasts, and no one knows why the Cowboys did this. Right? No one can understand why did they do this. Like, they could have just kept it. I know they were in cap hell, so he might have just been the casualty, but they could have restructured and re-signed it.
Somebody's hidden Jerry Jones's medications, I think, and
Yeah, well, or maybe they just let him do his thing, right? Because that's kind of what he does. But yeah, no, in terms of like the player himself, I think he's disruptive in exactly what we need. Like just churning up the middle, and he's basically a younger version of Harry Kamstead, and God knows how much we've missed him since he's left. So yeah, no, I think that's why I'm saying A+, because I was already on A with Mike Evans. I think that's a great signing. But
I'd have preferred it to have been a 4th rounder.
Yeah, but he's 28
well,
years old.
obviously, but I think a 3rd is.
I mean,
it's a late. It's obviously a late 3rd.
Yes, further
Was it our
27 spot, right? So it's
was it our 3rd or was it one of the comp picks?
No, it was
it's
one of
our
our 3rd.
third,
It was
because
our
we
one
only-
and only
It
3rd.
was our actual 3rd.
Yeah, we only
Oh
got
no, of
four.
course we don't have any 3rd round comp picks. What?
No.
Can't be right.
No, the all 4th
But
rounders.
yeah, so what is it? It's like pick 98 or something like that, 97.
92.
92.
Pick-
Okay, yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
pick 92.
That's more than. I kind of agree with Lee. I think had we picked early in the 3rd, that would have maybe a bit more expensive, and I would prefer the 4th. But a late 3rd, I mean, no, that's just banging.
Yeah, I think
as well,
127
Magic.
would have done it like.
Yeah, that would have been good too.
I think the fact that he's played in a similar scheme to Morris, and when I was talking to my buddy Chris, who's a Cowboys fan, I think he was saying about the fact that they're in cap hell, but I think it was more they're going down a different model, Najee, and like you said, it was a no-brainer. I mean, what was it he signed? A 4-year, $80 million extension in March 25, and now he's like, here you come. So I'm happy, to be fair. I was trying to be a bit more modest, Najee, with my grades, because I get accused of being too excitable and everything's A+ all the time. So I was trying to be a bit tempted, and you've come in, Najee, and you've raised it. So I'm impressed with him.
Yeah.
A+, 100% A+.
Christian Kirk, I guess, is the next one.
Captain
What's that
Kirk.
Captain. Yeah, I completely missed that reference yesterday.
I'll put them on the screen.
Yeah,
which kind
I
of
saw
hides
that.
you if put them on the screen. We've talked about basically Mike Evans and Vedarian Lowe last week. So there's a few to talk about here.
Yeah,
And we talked
Christian
about
Kirk. When we go back to when Trent Baalke picked him up for the Jags and the amount of money he gave Christian Kirk, I think all of us turned around and said he's absolutely batshit crazy doing
I
it.
know, yeah.
He's not worth that money. And I think it's proven to be the fact that he wasn't worth that money. I think he's had one season where he's gone over 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
Other than
that
that-
season he signed, he went for over 1,000, which then thinks like, oh, it's a good signing, right? But it was way too much money at the time. He wasn't
and
like
then you
the
look at
top
last
free
year.
agent at the time.
Yeah, you look at last year and he hasn't really done much.
No.
They talk about his speed, but we've got Jacob Cowan. He's got speed. I'm not saying they're the same player, but it didn't really excite me that much, Christian Kirk. Not as much as the Mike Evans pickup.
No, but I think given
The
the
6
fact,
mil excited me. I thought,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
There's that.
Yeah, he
and
was cheap.
also,
Yeah.
he's a returner, which since Sky Moore's gone to wherever he's
big
gone,
loss.
I think it's great. It's a good bit of a business, and it's kind of like a Jordan 1 kid that's actually proven that he can play football. No offense to Jordan Watkins, but he's a speedster that can stretch the field, but he's done it for a few years. He has the experience, and he's played the game as well. And again, just like he's played, he's not been on the sideline injured, so it's all 6 million. Who cares? Who cares if he doesn't play? $6
yeah,
million.
8-year veteran. I mean, I think given the talk about JJ still being a free agent, Ayuk going, I've seen a few comments, Gareth, in the chat that a few of the UK faithful weren't excited by the signing, but I think, like what Najee said, Lee, I think it's a good addition to the roster for a low cost.
Yeah.
I'm not excited, but I think it's a solid signing. It's a position we needed. Maybe because if certainly if we went first round pick with wide receiver, I'd be slightly concerned about why have we gone all in on that position with everything. So maybe we're going somewhere else. And I thought
Yeah.
Kirk might be they're looking somewhere else. They don't expect perhaps one of those receivers that they're looking for maybe to be there at whatever we are. Pick 27, are we? 26, 27, something like that.
27 at the moment in the
So-
first round, yeah.
Yeah,
And
so maybe that's trending in a direction where we're going to go somewhere else. And we always know Shanahan. Some of these guys, 11-year veterans that we've got now, they're probably just about experienced enough for Shanahan to give them snaps. So it's it's good, isn't it? It's good.
Gareth coming in with the shade. It was me in the group chat earlier in the
my
week. But,
God.
I mean, to be fair, I think before we added Kirk, we had something like 4 receivers on the roster. So we normally go in with 6 into the season. So I think you're right, Gareth. It's taken away that need. Because I think going into the draft, people were worried we were going to go
good to go in
wide
without
receiver
need.
27. So yeah, I thought it was okay. The good news is I'm glad the news broke after I wasted my lunch break trying to put together a thumbnail because the Captain Kirk Star Trek boldly kind of gone where Lee was going. That definitely would have featured everybody. So maybe it was good it broke later on in the afternoon.
Well, there's a few names there on the screen. Do you guys want to pick a name that does excite you out of that list?
Dre Greenlow.
There we go. Najee's
Greenlow. Dre.
got
Oh,
straight
come
in.
on. I'm very excited that he's back. I have no idea what role he's gonna have because obviously I think D Winters.
Starter at 7 million, surely.
No, I don't think so.
I know it's
but
not big money, but you don't spend 7 million on a bit player, do you?
It's not that much for an off-ball linebacker like him. I don't think that's really that much. How much was he on? 20 last year, right? 17, 18, something like that last year. So a 7 is really not a lot, and it's 1 year as well. So there's probably a lot of incentive in there. I haven't actually seen the contract, what it looks like, but I am concerned about what his role is going to be. Is he going to be a first down guy, the kind of guy, and we're going to have D Winters on third? Because we know Dre is not the best cover linebacker, but he's definitely a ball hog, rushing down kind of thing, downhill guy. So just the fire that he's back with Fred. I think we all saw the video of him signing the contract and seeing Fred in the facility and what that meant for those two guys. I think that's just incredible to have him back. And there's like that air of, I kind of hate that we keep going back to that. Like that unfinished business, because obviously we all know that if he doesn't leave that game against the Chiefs, we're 100% winning. He was on fire. He was absolutely unstoppable, and I think the Chiefs would have not done anything, and we would have won that game very comfortably. But he just popped his Achilles or whatever running onto the field, and that was it. So no, I'm super excited to have him back. I am concerned about what they're going to do between him and D Winters, because I think Winters deserves to be starting. He played really well last year, especially without Fred and all that. So
do you think it means Kendricks isn't coming back, Najee? Because obviously, I think there was a lot of talk about him coming back.
Yeah, and it's a shame because same again. Like he came in and he had that one big play that won us the game and puts us in the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. It's a shame, but also he was not with the team for a reason, I think. So I'd rather have Dre than Kendricks.
He wasn't with the team because he picked the Cowboys a couple of seasons ago. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Kittle said
it's a shame. But you can't have them all. And maybe we'll have him on practice squad and he'll be a contributor at some point. You never know.
Yeah, George Kittle said on Bussing with the Boys that Dre Greenlaw plays with more juice than anyone else. He's looking forward to him making Fred better. And apparently he's Kyle Shanahan's favourite ever player. And then I was trying not to get too excited, Nadji, after seeing that. And then preparing for night, Gareth, I went on Richard Sherman's podcast. And he was saying after an Achilles injury, the second season is when you get better. And I thought Dre Greenlaw's going to get even better. But I agree. I think Winters does start, Nadji. But I'm glad we've brought him back. I think it's a good character to have around the dressing room. Low cost, high reward.
Do you not think we might see all three on the field for more times? Is he a guy you just can't put on the bench? You make room for him?
Yeah, no, I definitely go proper, old school proper 4-3. Like, because you could have Winters in a nickel right? If he's covering a tight end, I think that's not a problem. So yeah, it's possible, definitely. That's a good question, though, Richard.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
You
Nick
know what?
Martin,
I've got a theory about Nick Martin. I think they made their mind up very, very quickly. I don't think he's going to be on the roster very long at all.
Yeah, I think it's one of those camp battle we're gonna have to keep an eye on, see if he can stick around. But
What was he, a
Yeah.
third round pick?
yeah.
He was a
Third
third round
or
pick.
fourth, yeah.
Do you think it points to maybe last year we struggled with getting home with the pass rush? Do you think Morris might try and be a bit more exotic, like Salah, and trying to bring the pressure from that linebacker position, and maybe he's been a little bit more cleverer than just going out on an edge rush? Because obviously there's a lot of talk, Gareth, of a name that's not on there, Joey Bosa, and a lot of people are wanting us to sign him.
We'll see.
So we'll. But no, I'm glad you picked Greenlaw, Nadji, because he was your boy when he was here. And the other breaking news is he's been given his 57 shirt back. So I thought that
Yeah,
was a
I
nice
saw that.
touch. Yeah. So
So
he's
that's
been,
nice. That's nice. Well, see, this is what I mean. Like, it's not just a player, right? There's a background that comes with him and the legacy that when he was playing. And those two, I mean, for a while we were talking about Dre and Fred as the best duo this team maybe has ever seen. With Willis and oh my God, I'm blanking on his
Bowman.
name. Bowman, thank you. And it was like, okay, well now they're back, and yeah, as you said, 2 years after the Achilles, maybe we'll see him exactly how he was, and then Winters unfortunately is going to find himself on the bench because you can't stop these two guys when they play together. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's exciting. It's depth. If anything, if we lose anyone, then we're like, okay, it's fine. We still got Dre. We still got D. So yeah, I think it's just smart business, right? Just need Debo back now and back full on 2019.
What about you, Paul? Pick a name off the list. Who's
Well,
exciting you?
I talked about it last week, and Lee wasn't here, so I'm going to go with Mike Evans. The more I read up on it, the more I think that solid ex-receiver. Going to be interesting to see what number he wears, Gareth, because there seems to be a theme that Shanahan's signing players with the number 13 jersey, and I don't think Brock's changing that, but I do think Mike Evans being that red zone threat. I think with Kittle missing as well. I think, the more I've read up on it, the more that George Kittle's come out and said, yeah, I was tapping him up. I don't know whether tampering's a bit of a thing for players, but the fact that he's fitted straight in, and
100%.
I know there's a few concerns with his age and the injury last year, but I'm super psyched to see. I think Kyle Shanahan give Brock a kind of an elite red zone threat. So that's the name that I'm sticking with. And not just because I can pronounce his name, everyone. I'll just put that out there as well.
And it turns out he's worth 4.5 million against the cap this year, something like that, because half of his salary has been prorated or whatever. So it's not even a 16 hit cap hit, it's a 4 million cap hit, which is just like super smart business. This is what I'm like. You add all this up, it's A plus, right? There's got to be A plus. Can't be anything else.
I told you, Nadji, I was trying to be a bit more, modest, but you came in and you were like...
It's day one of the season. It's first show of the season. You've got to be at the top or nothing.
I mean, Mike Evans is exciting, and I think that the fact he could have gone to a lot of places on that money, and he chose us. He apparently looked around at a contender, and he looked at the Bills and Josh Allen, who people somehow rate as one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and looked at Brock Purdy and went, I'll have Brock Purdy, please. So that's got to be encouraging that he really wants to be with this team, and I think while I think he is at best probably just over his prime, I think he's a very good scheme fit. I think he is the Shanahan built receiver. If Shanahan built a receiver in a lab, it would probably look a bit like Mike Evans.
Yeah, that's true. And again, if at the end of the season he has, like 50 receptions, 600 yards, and 15 touchdowns, I think we'll all be very happy with something like that.
He doesn't need 1,000 yards.
He doesn't need 1,000 yards to be successful.
Brock sprays the ball around. Everyone's going to feed.
I think I said it when we talked about it last week. The blueprint is basically Davante Adams at the Rams, right? It's just like not that many yards, but just a buttloads of touchdowns and just making
important yards,
turning threes into 6, which is just it's huge, isn't it, in this league? So,
what about you, Lee?
Well, I mean, Mike Evans is the obvious choice because you look at the cornerbacks that we're going to go up against in the division, and he's going to match up very well against them all. So it gives us a target to go to when we need to get those third downs. and touchdowns in the red zone. So he does excite me, but the one I'm going to pick out is actually Jake Tongas.
Oh,
thought,
you've stolen
had
my
he be-
thunder.
Have I? So had he been given a fair crack at the whip last year when George was fit, I think he'd have had a hell of a lot more yards. And let's face it, when George does eventually come back, and it's probably not going to be until December, maybe it's even January, he's going to be a shadow of his former self. I don't think we see the real George Kittle again until the 2027 season. So I think we're over a season away from seeing George play to his strengths, which means it was vitally important we had somebody that we could trust at that position. And bringing Jake Tongas back, I think that's the bit that did it for me. They obviously know what he's worth. They know that George is going to take a while to come back to fitness. I kind of had hope that, and he's not going to be there, Kenyon Sadiq, if he's there at 27, we've got to take him. We just have to take him. But you're right, he's going to go mid-teens. He's more likely going to go.
I think maybe even sooner than that. But
yeah.
There's a few tight ends in this draft, though, isn't there? So maybe I think the lad from
you look
Stanford,
at Kenyon Sadiq, and he kind of reminds everybody of Vernon Davis. And there's a very good reason why.
Yeah.
I thought there'd be another tight end on your list, isn't there? A Stanford lad that's quite highly rated at the moment.
The years
Well,
I'd rather have
Stanford,
Kenyon
isn't it?
Sadiq. I'll be honest.
I was saying that when you took the bait.
Yeah,
So.
Stanford have had some very good tight ends in the past.
That's true. That is very true. Go on then, Gareth. Give us your name. I know
It would have been Tonjes. I was impressed with him last season. I'm glad we've got him for another couple of years. I do think, it's sad to say we are going to have to start looking beyond George Kittle's career with the mileage that he's got. And I think that's a great signing. I thought he did everything we'd asked of him. But he seemed to be he was a guy that Brock Purdy trusts as well. And I think that's come out though obviously he does seem to spray the ball around. It's like he trusts everybody. But I'm pleased with that. That does excite me that he is a guy who could, I think, make a leap, especially because there's a space there. We need a tight end one because George is going to be out for, at least the first 10 games of the season we're looking at, aren't we? So there's a role there. There's a job there. He's in the system, and he could be keeping Kittle out by the time Kittle could be tight end too by the time he gets fit. How's that for scandal?
There's a name missing off the list because we've signed Eddie Pinheiro, we've signed the long snapper, and now we've signed a punter.
Yeah,
punter. On there.
That means,
punters
Gareth,
are people too.
that we've had a lot
special
of
teams,
kind
special
of
times.
PTSD over special teams in the draft, and now we've signed a punter. Everyone, I don't think we're going to be drafting a punter in the 4th round, so you can all relax. But apparently, he had some Waitman. I was waiting for Brett Sinclair to come online and drop some. I've seen some horrendous dad jokes about his surname and all the rest of it. But yeah, I think we're making solid moves in this free agency, Gareth. I'm quite happy. So yeah, his name wasn't on there. Corliss Waitman, punter, we've signed.
That's it. And there is, I'm pleased to see a little bit of an investment in the O-line. We do tend to shop in the bargain bin at the O-line position, and I think you probably all know my feelings on that, particularly when I think there were some decent offensive linemen available. We'll have to see what happens with Trent Williams, of course, because that is still rumbling along in the background, though it has gone a bit quiet. I'm going to take that as something positive, the fact that it's all a bit quiet and no one's making too much noise. But it's good. I think we've talked about this before. If you go into the draft without a glaring need, that's in a good place to be, because then you don't end up reaching for that one guy on your list that's left, and you end up overdrafting somebody that isn't perhaps worth the position you spend on them. Good to see. And punters. We'll have to do a special teams long snapper.
Yeah,
punter,
and he's
show.
He's a lefty, right? I think he's a lefty, which I think is. It's kind of some coaches just only will. Was it Belichick that would only have lefty punters? I'm pretty sure it was, because it was just like spinning the ball differently for returners and all that. I mean, that's good. I think it's a bit of an edge, in an area of the game where you haven't had an edge for far too long now, far too long. So hopefully hopefully we
I
continue.
think, to be fair, Nadji, with the new special teams coordinator last year, I think Shanahan actually gave him kind of free reign, and I think he's finally kind of understood. Yep, we need to be solid, and then I think if they're coming to the management team, we need to sign these kind of players. I kind of wanted Morstead to stay at the end of the season. I thought he was solid for us last
Yeah,
year,
he was.
but given the stats that I've seen, and I think as the seeker
It's an
of
upgrade.
truth and wisdoms, but there he
Mm.
was top 3 in punting inside the 20, and it's just a bit of a no-brainer.
I mean,
really.
ultimately, we're not going to punt next year at all, so it doesn't really matter.
I like it. Yeah. And there's a bit of talk in the chat, Gareth, about Trent Williams. So I don't know whether we want to
Yeah,
go
I
down
mean,
that
that is-
rabbit hole.
Yeah.
That's one of those.
rumbling
It's
along.
just like if you resign as a free agent, it becomes one of like the big name. If you can play the way you played December and not the rest of the season, I think we're all screaming for him to play way better, especially with September, October, right? And
Well,
especially
not
for the
yet.
amount of money that we pay him, right? So, what are you guys like? Because I don't know. I'm on the fence whether we should just get rid of him, try and trade him, and go younger, and finally just turn the page on that chapter, or do we squeeze one more year? But I think it's a risky move to try and squeeze one more year out of him. I don't know. I'm very much on the fence with Trent. I haven't seen enough last year to tell me that we're gonna go for 17, 18 games
Exactly.
of
He
the
seems to have
silverback.
that persistent ankle injury now, which
Yeah,
is why he's holding out for guaranteed money,
yeah.
because he knows he's going to end up being injured at some point in the season.
Certainly, our run game suffered, and it did seem to be we weren't getting up into the second level and engaging
Yeah.
the blocks on any part of the line. And I think that shows how good Trent's game has been over the last few years.
Well, let's talk about okay. Yeah,
I mean-
ultimately you're right, Ty. He is under contract, but it's a big contract. It's like 36 million guarantee.
Yeah,
right?
we need him to sign something to alleviate that cap.
I mean,
hit,
we
don't
are. I think. Did I read we were like 6 of the best cap space, even
Yeah.
after all the
So
signings
as
we've
it
had.
stands
So,
at the moment, we're 6 more. We've got 46 million free, and they've done a few
so like, it
restructures.
doesn't really
and I think
matter. And,
so.
yeah, Trent's
I think
contract is not even counted in that because it's already in the cap, right? So, I don't know. I just feel like with this amount of space and that I said that I'm sure people would pay a premium for, like you could easily get
So I don't
a
think he
second
wants
round for him, right?
additional money. It's the fact that he's got no guaranteed money this year. I think that's
Yeah.
it. He just wants guaranteed money.
Yeah. Just,
but we want his cap hit down. So
Yeah, that's what they're. But I think that the restructured Bosa, I think there's talk that there's a couple of others that they're going to do, and we kind of touched upon it last week, Lee. But I think it's a strange one, Nadji, because I think it's that kind of fear of missing out. I know the Chiefs are sniffing around, and I think what the team are wary of is to trade him away, and then he has a monster season, like you said. But the risk is at the moment,
it's the age
kind of,
of
and
it.
we haven't got anyone to replace him with.
that's
and
the
we've already-
problem.
I think that's the problem. We have not
Mm.
been proactive enough to try and either prepare for his departure or looked into getting a swap or something to replace him without losing too much, talent. Which is
How much
very
cap
hard to
space
do.
do we have at the moment?
46 million.
million, yeah.
46.
Athletic. Yep, that's correct.
Right.
As Ty said there, money
And what
isn't an issue.
We've
at the
only got
moment.
6 draft picks. And I tell you
True.
what, because of the way we've gone about free agency, I would be I wouldn't be surprised if we don't even pick in the first round. I think
No, I
we'll
wouldn't
trade
either.
back.
Depending
I
on-
think
I
we'll
think-
trade back.
If we can find someone to trade back with,
Yeah, if we can find somebody to trade back. But I think we'll trade back and pick up a second and a third for our first.
I think
Which
so. I
means
think
we don't have a big money contract to pay out.
we're going to be in a position where we pick whoever we want at the spot we want, and as soon as it gets to us, if there's a player we'll be like, oh, we can probably pick this guy at 33, we will 100% go back.
So that's exactly
we're going to
what
be
I'm
in a good
expecting.
space, I think, to make like important decisions, easy ones. I think we're not going to be stressed by anything. We don't need. There's no glaring need. I think. We need safety. We lost Pinnock. We need like depth, but we don't need. I think our starting team is there when Fred and George come back. I think. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the draft, especially after this. When is the draft? In
Season.
4 weeks, something like that, a bit more.
Yeah, 23rd of April.
Yeah, so it's 5 weeks. Would be very shocked if we don't sign a couple of DNs, D tackle, maybe some extra depth somewhere. Another tight end or something. I don't know.
As in before then, out of free agency. You think we'll?
Yeah, I
we'll
think so.
still-
Yeah.
Still got some shopping to do.
I mean,
Yeah, I
Paul
think so.
mentioned Joey Bosa before, and I wouldn't be surprised. On a
Didn't the
one-year deal.
Lions release their left tackle? I think they did. No, left tackle, right tackle. Wait, they released what's his name?
Yeah, Decker.
Are you throwing shade over McKivitz?
No.
Who was
But
ranked eighth out of all tackles.
I think McKivitz played really well. Who is it? The Lions cut.
Decker.
Decker. That's right. Like I'd be happy to. If Trent doesn't want to play anymore, just ship him, get a second round pick, a third round pick, whatever. Just sign Decker for like half the money.
I think what you've got to do at the moment is like I've seen a lot of talk in the chat about Ayuk, and you've got to remember we're still in March. Some of these deals won't be done till post June cut,
yeah.
and the way the money's moving around. And if you look at the Dolphins, apparently the Dolphins traded Waddle today, and today was the most optimum day for them to maximise it because I think tomorrow he was due a lot of sign-on fees, and all the Dolphins fans are like,
I think it's at the end of the week he's due 10 million, so something.
It was about
Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen before then, no, for sure. I mean, we're live.
It's going to happen in 35 minutes. So.
Exactly. As soon as we hang up this call, it's going to.
That's why we've gone a little bit earlier, people, because we thought if we go a bit earlier this week, the news might break while we're still awake. But it's just the curse of being kind of on this side of the pond and doing content at this time.
I think let's not forget. As I said, wouldn't be surprised if we sign a couple of depth pieces, or maybe just a Joey Bosa type signing, which it's not like you're not splashing. You're just going like, hey, come play with us for a year, see what you can do, kind of thing. And then we'll be in a super good position to enter, the draft, and then B, camp, and then the first part of the season where one of the team is going to be done before the trade deadline, and we might be able to, we'll have some cap space to just go, do you know what? We'll have that guy. We'll have reinforcement here because we're not very good at it this year, like during the season. So you don't want to blow all your chips in free agency straight away. I think it's.
Who would you rather have? No. Joey Bosa or Cam Jordan?
Oh, Cam Jordan's old though, but I think I would rather have Cam Jordan because it's just good. Bosa is just probably going to be injured though, isn't he?
Yeah, but that's as long as you only ask him to play 15 snaps a game, perhaps. And
yeah, true. I mean, just for the memes, for the Bosa thing, I think that'd be pretty cool.
Did you see Mrs. Bosa? The mum had posted on her Instagram, someone had mocked up a picture of them both in Niners jerseys, and she tweeted that out there trying to speak into existence. And I think you've got to remember, everyone's at this time of the NFL year, we're all excited. You want all your free agents done. But look at JJ. JJ was hopeful to get wide receiver one money. Free agency, the first wave is gone. And at the moment, you're kind of in that where teams might circle back round. And I think that this waiting game, like you said, Nancy, the business side, which people don't like, but you might get a player in a bit cheaper than you would have done this time last week or the longer it goes on.
Yeah.
Given the fact that we've got 10 wide receivers on the books, is there any way back for JJ?
Yeah, I think so. I think you don't.
I think Kirk, the $6 million, it's gone to Kirk.
I think it killed him.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a chance. Especially that Brandon Ayuk technically is still on the roster. So when he's gone, there's a spot that opens up. So.
Well, can you remember what we talked about a good few weeks ago now? Potentially trading Purcell.
What?
Oh, did you talk about that? What? No,
I'm sure we talked about that.
I hope Kev's not around. He's going to kill you.
Yeah. So we talked about potentially they might trade Purcell.
I don't think they move off him just yet, Lee. But yeah, we did talk about that. I can't
see. Unless someone offers us another first-round pick, why?
He's made of glass. For what?
I mean, you know what? I am not 100% completely closed on the idea. I could see, especially if you resign JJ, right, with Mike Evans.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Coming back in. I wouldn't be opposed to it depending on what you get, but I don't like it. I don't think it doesn't feel particularly nice.
I can't think that we're going to get somebody's going to offer us something that's better than just keeping him for another year. And obviously this is a make or break year for him. He's got to stay fit for a year. So
Well, it's only year 3, right? So he's got
we've
2 more
seen
years.
the talent. We have seen the talent.
This is year 3, right? He's entering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this will be his third
Yeah.
year. Yeah,
So he's got year 4, and then the option with year 5. He's a first rounder, right? So
he is. Yeah,
we've got
that's right.
plenty of time to see how good he actually is. Let's give
Well,
him- I
we've
think
seen how good
give him
he
one
is.
more.
It's just he can't stay on the field.
Yeah, that's true. There's definitely more talk about this next season if he plays 6 game again, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So we didn't have that on our rabbit hole bingo card talking about trading Ricky Purcell. So stick with us, faithful. We're getting through these.
Lee's back. Just hold on to your pants. The next one will be even longer.
Is there any of the free agents left that you'd be keen on? We've talked a little bit about Big Bosa.
Has Njoku been signed by anyone?
I think he has.
I don't know. Let me try and have
You
a
know,
look.
I mean, I can't remember hearing
What's he
his
called?
name.
No,
David.
me neither, because he
David.
was a guy I had an eye on and thought, bit of tight end depth.
One day ago. No, I think he's under contract, so they
No, he was a free agent.
There we go. This is when my phone warms up. This is the NFL website. There's only 21 of their 101 top free agents left.
Yeah, you just clicked exactly the same link I did.
Oh,
This
that's
is what you
why
get,
mine's so
people.
slow now.
When you tune in, look at this cutting edge live, all on our phones, very
Yeah.
well prepared.
No, he's not there. Oh, yeah, there he is, number 87. He's still available.
still available. Okay. I mean, that's kind of a red flag if nobody's signed him yet.
It depends though what some of these guys will back themselves to hold out for the money they want, and if they don't get it, you can sit there and wait until someone's ACL goes in training camp, and you might get the money you want. It's the game you play, isn't it? It's the business. You can hang on to it if you want to back yourself for it.
Have we? Do we still have Robinson, our running back, or is he gone? I have no idea.
I think
he signed for Washington, didn't he? Washington
Has he?
Commanders.
Is he?
Actually, no, we signed him from Washington Commanders, didn't we?
Yeah,
we
that's
did.
right. That's
We
right.
did. It must have been for 2 years, because I don't recall seeing him on free agent list. But
Oh, Nicholas,
Yay.
that's so nice. Thank you very much. Hello.
Sorry,
How will be doing in the draft? Since you've sent us super chat, we're gonna have to answer it. I think, as I said, I think
draft.
we'll be in a good position to go for the player we want rather than a position of need. I think if we fall in love with somebody and we feel like he can be taken, we might even trade up. Give a couple of our fourth round to go and get one guy. I mean, as I said, I just don't think
really hope
there's
not.
a need. Do we have any position that we absolutely
At the
need?
moment, for me personally, pressed for position of need, I'd still say we're like receiver Nadji and defensive end. As it stands today,
I think it's tight end.
I don't think we're that bad at tight end, Lee. I think
if we don't take a tackle high in the draft this year, when are we going to? Because otherwise we were back here with Trent Williams this time next year. So I think.
So who are you thinking? Are you thinking Blake Miller?
I don't know. I haven't done a draft deep dive, but it's a few of the mock drafts that I've seen have offensive linemen falling to us at that sort of pick at pick 27. So and there's several available.
It's not the greatest
that's where
of
I'd like to
drafts.
go.
It's not the greatest of drive for all line, especially tackles. I think there's a few good guards, but
yeah,
it's not great for tackles, unfortunately. And that's probably why we're just dragging it with Trent, right? Because we might as well just.
If they don't evaluate a guy, don't pick him for the sake of it. But
so Robinson is still unsigned, and
so here's a name that I think if we're not resigning Brian Robinson, that I would love for us to have, and it's not because of the name, but I do like him a lot. I mean, it's Najee Harris. I think it would be a pretty good addition, and also the name. That'd be pretty cool. Although it's
mean,
completely differently than mine.
I mean, the Lions just took Pacheco 1 year deal, 1.81 million, and I think at the moment we've got 4. We've got McCaffrey, Jordan James, Garendo,
Well, yeah, I mean,
Taylor,
we've got Jordan James.
and we normally go with 6. So
Yeah.
there's maybe running back is a need.
We'll take an undrafted or a late round pick on a running
Yeah,
back. I think.
somebody's
Or
gonna
we'll
yeah.
waste a 4th round pick on a guy who'll never play because that's a tradition now.
That's because
I
that's
think
what
in
we do.
terms of running
Absolutely.
back.
Well, it's not really a
Or-
3rd round pick, but we've already traded that one
Yeah,
away.
I was going to say we trade that one
agree
away.
with
Or we'll
Richard.
bring
I think
Debo
left guard
back for wide back. Or is there any other unsigned 49ers players on the list to bring the reunion to a back?
Debo.
That's a good call from Richard there. Safety. So we did touch
Yeah,
on
we
it briefly.
definitely
I'd be happy to go for a good safety
agree.
late in the draft. if
Safeties
we
are
can get it.
expensive. Though. Good safeties are very expensive.
They've never prioritized that under the current
haven't.
regime, so that
They
would be
never
bold to go there. So, I mean, we've just lost Pinnock. He went back to the Giants, didn't he? No, he wasn't.
He did, yeah, for some reason.
Yeah.
Well, hardball, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. Let's see where we are in 3 weeks when all the free agents, or pretty much all of them, most of them have been signed, and where we are exactly. But I feel like we're in a good position. I do agree left guard is probably the most glaring need that we have.
So what I like about the super chat, Gareth, is the fact that he's come in when we're at week 1 of our new season. We thought we won't do draft talk tonight. We'll talk
I
free
know.
agency, but it's good to see. And he's also Nick is saying that he's going to be at the draft. I saw that comment up there. So he's
that's
at
exciting.
Ty Alston. So it looks like Nick.
Ty is in Pittsburgh as well.
So-
This is starting to get a bit of a VIP event. This.
There's
Yeah,
a
sounds
Really
like
nice.
there's if you're talking about getting the band back together, there is a free agent number 96 out of that list is a Mr. Jimmy Garoppolo, who is still a free agent. So
There's one
you wanna
thing we don't
really
need is
spin the top
quarterbacks. We are absolutely sorted for.
well,
quarterbacks.
it's
We've got 4. I think that's good.
people have inquired about Mac Jones and been put off by the price. I think hard ball. Someone does their ACL. In
Later
training
on,
camp.
yeah, absolutely.
You
But
know,
then-
I still think Mac we could get what we want for Mac.
But then we can have Indiana Hoosiers legend Curtis Rook playing. Who took the Hoosiers to the playoff in the first year of Signetti. So I did not play on a busted knee. I think they might have even been better that year. So
Well, who knows? I mean, the Chiefs have just paid draft capital for Justin Fields, so
I know.
you
What a
know.
weird move.
There we
I mean,
go.
I did need a
Jimmy-
QB, I guess. So why not?
I don't think Jimmy and Kyle are on talking terms anymore. The way
Don't
Jimmy
think so.
left, so
Do you mean after he refused to play in the NFC Championship?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Who
I
had
mean,
Jimmy
I'd rather know.
Garoppolo 43 minutes on the bingo card? This show, I love it, chaps. I love it. I can just see the screenshots now. But I didn't want to I haven't done any mock drafts yet, and I haven't really got any draft crushes. I like to see free agency play out for the first 2 weeks. Then I like to see Lee's 875 mock drafts that he drops in the group chat. And then I start rehearsing the names, Nadji. So we're a little bit behind the curve at the moment. So, and
We are.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm definitely going to have to do a lot more mock drafts.
Well, because 2000 is not enough. I mean, my draft crash has been Sadiq since week 1 of the Oregon season. He's amazing, and his story is pretty cool too. But there's no chance we get him unless we trade up. But it would cost so much to get into the 10s, I think. But yeah,
I think
What
we've
about
been.
this? I just
we've been
hope it
burnt
doesn't go.
trading up before. So
I just don't want him to go to the Rams or the Cardinals or the Seahawks. God forbid he goes to the Seahawks.
so would you bring Armstead back? Secret of Truth and Wisdom's asking.
not now. Not for me.
Now that we have also, I don't think so.
No, and with
Lee is
CJ
slowing
West
down.
and Collins,
Yeah, I was going to say I like the ones
I-
I've got there.
I've got high hopes for that. Both of those guys can do what like DJ Jones did and become that kind of solid.
Yeah,
plug
and
up the middle.
I think with having Osa Odigizua next to them,
Nice.
Easy for you
Yeah.
to say, Lee. You've been
easy
practicing.
for me to say. I think they'll do well.
Yeah,
Looking forward to seeing how D-line.
I was a little disappointed actually with signing Osa because he played 97 for the Cowboys, and obviously Nick Bosa has got number 97. Because if he was able to keep that, we could just refer to him as 0097, and then it would have just made things a lot easier. So a little bit disappointed. He's
I
probably
mean,
going to go for
also is
96.
fine, right?
Yeah,
Also
yeah,
is
it's not
fine.
too bad.
Also, like,
Yeah.
did I read he started playing football like what 10 years ago? Not even now, right? Something like that. He's
I
been
did I say he
18
was a
years.
he was a champion wrestler or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, his body he's 28, but his body in terms of football
Impact.
mileage is a lot less.
Yeah.
Uh,
But no, I'm pleased with the D line. It is one unit where we're not going to draft. Can you imagine that? Not drafting D line?
We'll definitely draft D-line.
Well, out of our
100%
limited, picks,
we might just not sign anyone until the draft and go for edge. I mean, it's pretty deep at edge this year. I think you can find some very, very, very good one deep down, in the under the first kind of early second. I think. There's
Yeah,
definitely
potentially
some
we'll have
really
a couple of more picks before the draft because
Mm.
Mac Jones, I mean, he's on the block there. It could happen. And again, going to another rumor which we discussed a few weeks ago, Ronaldo Green. There's a rumor that we might
really?
trade Ronaldo Green.
I mean, if we do that, then we need to draft corner,
No,
right? 'Cause
corner.
then
Yeah.
we'll be
So
very
yeah.
thin at corner. Yeah, I wouldn't mind us picking up some depth. I mean, we did sign Nate Hobbs. I don't know who he is or where he was or if he's good, but I guess it's depth.
Didn't he come from the Packers?
I believe he came from the
Yeah.
Packers,
Is he a special team guy though? I think.
Yeah, we let Chase Lucas go. I thought he would hang around and have another chance to compete for a spot because he did make a couple of plays last year. So.
Yeah, but I think Marcus Siegel just showed that he's capable of playing, and I wouldn't be surprised if actually he starts next year. So that's why I'm like, we need safety, but do we? Because we have Brown who's been capable, and I think Siegel proved that he can play really well, and then obviously Mustafa has been really good for us. So
Yeah, he came from Green Bay Hobbs. He can play outside nickel cornerback. So the record
he's a nickel. Yeah.
There was a question that popped up there. Do we want Debo back? I think we've touched on this, and I think we can be fairly quick.
No, for 14 million. I'll have him for 6. Like for if he wants to take.
I wouldn't pay 6 for him anymore. I don't.
Yeah, I agree with Gareth.
I mean, he had a good season. At the Commanders. I know we didn't track him or whatever, but he had some like 800 yards and a few touchdowns.
Did he? No, surely.
Yeah. He had a decent season. Yeah, absolutely. And you got to think they played with
800 all-purpose yards.
I think so. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I mean that's pretty good, right? That's pretty good. That's kind of what he does. And they played with a bum quarterback for like half of the season. So, yeah.
I think the interesting topic about the draft when we get into it, everybody, will be Jed York tweeting like he did last year, which was hilarious. He definitely was having a few drinks. And do we reckon that Morris gets the same freedom that Salah had? Because if you cast your mind back last year, we did all these mock drafts and then it was defensive play. Now, I know we don't have that many picks this time, but I think it'll be interesting to see if Morris gets as much of a say as Salah.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either
might.
because of last year's draft.
Yeah, I think
exactly.
we rebuilt the D last year. I expect the first 2 picks to be offense. Not wedded to that, but
How did we go from 11 last year to 6 this year? I mean, I know we just traded the 3rd for.
we traded Keon White. We traded like a 6th round pick for him, didn't
the
we?
injuries,
And I
that's
think
right.
we ran out of some of the compensatories that we've been used
Did we
to
trade
getting.
for Colin Farrell as well? Or something?
Yeah, and I think we gave up a 7th for somebody at some point. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And somebody asked up
Makes
in the
sense.
chat about Mac Jones and the trade talk, and Collins put here quite rightly that the market dried up when the Jets traded for Gino, Tua, and Carter were available. And I think Mac Jones' asking price will depend the closer we get to the draft. And, as we said last week, Lee, it'll take a crazy offer to get rid of him. We're not trying to ship him to anyone at the moment. He's got a year left on his deal, so he seems quite happy where we are.
I mean, as far as our first round pick is concerned, if we do pick in the first round, I think it's going to be a Clemson player. And I think it could be either Blake Miller or TJ Parker. So TJ Parker's a defensive end.
Yeah, I'd stay away from Clemson. They've been pretty bad recently.
Yeah, we
Just-
are going to do a
just
bit
draft-
more draft deep dive.
Just get a Hoosier. Just get Indiana.
We-
Just
we
pick
need another Aggie.
anyone. I want Black from Indiana. Actually, that'd be really good. Yeah. So there we are.
There we are. I think that. I mean, the free agency frenzy has died down. Now, I always quite enjoy free agency because it's kind of quite compact. Although it obviously has its dregs. Most of it's done in kind of 3 or 4 days out of the big stuff, and there's always some surprises. I do think. Wonder if we are going to get maybe some surprise releases in the next couple of days before some of those guaranteed money kick in. Probably
Well-
been done now, but there's usually a surprise or somebody asks where to go.
Christian Kirk will be a returner, I think. Here's a question. I have. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Nick. You know,
Let's get-
50% here would be very good. So obviously this whole what's his name? Why am I blanking on names? Raiders, the end. Crosby. He's still nowhere, right? He's not signed anywhere, right?
No, well, he's at the Raiders.
Well, no, he's
He's
a
at the
Raiders
Raiders
player.
for years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
he's
the
a-
trade fell through, didn't
Yeah.
it?
So he's a Raider, so you can still trade for him technically,
Yeah.
I guess. But then the prices must have plummeted now. Would you guys be up for having him?
I don't know. Like,
I-
I
let's
think for a
face-
player like him, it's still a seller's market.
Do you think?
Yeah.
I don't know. He clearly doesn't want to stay. There's going to be some sour grapes
Well, that's
because
the
he
thing.
did get traded,
Yeah.
right? So I just I don't know. It's weird that he failed the physical, even though he had surgery like 2 months ago. So it's kind of like it makes sense.
Yeah. I think it was an
Um,
excuse.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
like-
It was obvious Hendrickson was going there. There's been some phone calls or brown envelopes
Yeah,
left
like-
somewhere that's basically said, Hendrickson will sign for less money and you don't need the picks on an injured player.
Well, they signed for the same money and they just kept the 2 first rounder essentially.
But
But
no,
yeah,
he was a little cheaper than
yeah.
Bill
yeah,
Belichick
okay.
somewhere's raging that he didn't have that in his playbook back in the day. It was one hell of a move.
Speaking of that,
I mean, so like,
people-
do you guys think the Ravens did this on purpose, or do you guys
Yes.
think he actually
100%
failed the physical? Because it is possible
they
it is possible they find some kind of heart disease or something that was undetected before, and they were like, we can't actually. This guy is going to be done in 2 years. So
I think
who knows,
if
it's
they
possible.
hadn't signed Hendrickson, but I think that just we can all see how that perhaps has played out, can't we?
It's proof. It's proof.
There
Let's
may
put it this
be
way.
some truth in they didn't like the look of his knee, and it's obviously it's opinions. You get 2 doctors. One guy says, yeah, chances are this will be fine. The other guy says,
Yeah,
if you're lucky, it'll be fine.
I think it's probably somewhere in the
signed
middle.
elsewhere.
Right?
Had Hendrickson signed elsewhere, that trade would have gone through.
Do you think? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. 100%.
I think it's probably somewhere in the middle. I think they probably they weren't sure and they were teetering with yes or no, and they kind of just went, you know what, it's just cancel it, it's probably safer. And then they'd sign Ericsson. I think it's probably in
So
the
you got to
in the middle.
remember, everyone, it is only March the 17th. We've still got some key dates to hit before people get excited. So we've got the annual meeting of the owners is coming up, March the 29th. April the 17th is when all the restricted free agent offer sheet deadline goes in. Then there's the draft. Then May the 1st is the 5th-year option deadline. And then we get to that lovely part in May where there's all the details of training camp and all that kind of stuff. So it's quite interesting that, I don't know about you three, but when I talk NFL at work and they're like, the season's finished at the moment. You're doing a podcast tonight, Paul. What can you talk about? And it's like, trust me, there's always something to talk about.
You'll have to tune in.
Yeah, tune in and watch. But Collins put up a bit of a update there. So apparently Hendrickson was asking for 38 mil after the trade. No one to pay that, and he reduced his price to 30. And then lo and behold, as you said, Gareth, the Ravens just kind of come along and signed.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny that he's going to destroy Joe Burrow twice a year. It's quite funny. Yeah, I'm glad we're out of this AFC nonsense. That's for sure.
Yeah, any teams you felt have done really good business? I think we've done good business. I'm overall pleased with it. That be, but anyone
Well, the
sort of
Raiders did good
strike you?
business. They got Linderbaum.
27
boy.
million.
Yeah.
27
So
million
for a
for a
centre,
center is
yeah,
ridiculous amount of money, especially considering that the second best center, technically, according to all these lists, I think is
Yeah.
on like 13. It's not even close to.
Mm.
It's ridiculous
But
amount of
I'll
it's
money.
tell
the
you what, having a
Raiders. They're
decent
just
centre makes such a difference to the team.
It does.
We could
It
actually get
does.
away with not having Trent if we'd had Linderbaum.
ooh, that is bold.
That is very bold.
I think the
I'm
Rams
not
have
sure.
done some good bits of business, Gareth.
I
Obviously,
don't think they
they've
have.
spent some money.
I don't think they have.
Well, they've taken
They've
on
got
just
worse.
2 corners. I was
They
happy
just
about
got
that.
2 corners for $50 million. It's a
I
lot-
did too,
lots of
who they
money.
already had, and I'm just looking around. Like, I haven't done a deep dive into all the teams.
I think the
but you look
Patriots
in your
did
division.
pretty well. I thought the Patriots did clever business.
Interesting, I've seen the Seahawks get slated a little bit for letting
that
some
was
of
so
their guys go,
They lost
which
what
is fun.
4? That
But I
started?
thought it was a good deal not to pay bang average Kenneth Walker. We talked about that last time. I thought that was a bad deal from the
The
Chiefs.
Chiefs,
I think that
yeah.
the Chiefs have not done well. I don't think that they're going to be.
I think Fields will have more rushing yard than Kenneth Walker by the time Pat Mahomes comes back. So it's funny.
And Salah's done all right at the Titans. I think they obviously had the cap space. He's got a name. Clearly, defensive players want to be there. So I think good for Bobby there. I think he's made a good start. So
yeah,
I was quite intrigued to see Robinson go there. I think it gave Cam Ward a bit of a weapon, and like you said, the 90 million cap space, and the Titans fans are very excited. Though I'm not too sure of the new uniform rebrand personally. I've seen some Houston.
I like it.
I quite like it. Yeah.
I like it a lot, but it's so very Houston Oilers.
Yeah.
I was going to say it's
kind of just
trolling the old
funny.
Oilers.
It's so troll. Oh, it's just like they can't
Why
just
not?
get away from it. It's very funny. I think it's very funny.
And we always like to have a laugh at some of our historical rivals, and I think the Raiders have had a pretty bad, given the fact that they were blindsided by that reversal and they'd thrown a lot of money at people. But this time last year, Gareth, we'd lost the off-season apparently because all our free agents went elsewhere. So you've got to be careful.
Just quickly, over to the world of the Gowland family. How's your brother feeling about Kyler?
I haven't actually spoken to him about it yet. Yeah, I completely forgot that.
Because it's for 1.3 million and the Cardinals paying him 36 or something like that.
Ultimately,
he's a starting quarterback. I think.
Does it matter? He'll be at the Seahawks next year, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
Isn't there a new Call of Duty game coming out with something? So, don't say that, Lee. Don't say that.
I just and the Cardinals are in their annual cycle of rebuild, aren't they? Their 3-year rebuild.
Yeah, they signed the left tackle or left guard for like $28 million or whatever. It's just like you don't have a quarterback. Why are you signing? I don't.
They've got Minshew, man.
Oh, that okay. They
Jimmy
protect
G.
the
And
money.
Brissett.
That's fair. You can't take that away from them. Protect the Minshew mania. Yeah, Jacoby Brissett's gonna start. I mean, come on. Whatever.
So look at the rabbit hole we're descending into, Gareth.
There we are. Why not? We needed to fill another 90 seconds. Over to you, Paul.
We did. Well, Lee, any final thoughts before we finish off? Because you worked with us last week.
No, because we're going to have a show before the draft, so obviously we can cover a little bit more draft news there.
We still haven't done
I just think
awards.
we've done really. I thought. Well, I said it at the start. An A- free agency. I think we've plugged the holes that we needed to plug. I think Colin Snedden said it. We're not done yet. I can definitely see us bringing in 1 or 2 more players. Obviously, the restructure was done for a reason, even though we've only got 5 draft picks or 6 draft picks, which means that's not going to cost us that much, especially if we trade down from the first round as well. So we've got an abundance of money there, and I think it all depends on whether or not they can get the right deal for the right person. Whether or not that money's being set aside for Trent, I don't know. I don't particularly think it has. I don't think we needed that much money for Trent because of what he was making this year anyway. I think that'll just sort itself out in the wash. I think he'll end up with a 2-year deal. I think we'll reduce the cap hit on Trent this year, but basically spread it over 2 years and give him a lot of guaranteed money there so that he stays. I think that's how that's going to work out. If we can bring in Joey Bosa, even though he's reasonably old now, I think that would be really good, because I'd love to see the Bosa brothers play opposite each other, and it gives us two elite pass rushers to go with what we've already brought on the inside, and then we've got Michael Williams to step in on running plays. So yeah, I'm quite excited about what's happening. Can't wait for the draft. Can't wait to find out what we do with pick 27. I'll be very surprised if we move up. I think if anything, we'll move down.
Yeah, I think so.
Probably to 35 to 40, somewhere like that, and pick up a third round as well.
Yeah, possible.
So, Gareth, you mentioned the award show. Yes, people, we have been a little bit all over the place, but we've got that to do, haven't we, Gareth? Still,
We will. We'll mix things up and start the season with the award show rather than ending a season with the award show. But yeah, good business. But I'm pleased the free agency is only ever half the job. It sets you up for the draft. It's not the complete package. So let's see how we go in the draft to complement the players we've got. But yeah, there's some excitement there, and I think we've done a good job. I don't think we've overpaid for anybody. I don't think we've necessarily picked up anyone who's going to be an instant regret. So yeah, good business.
And Najee, any final thoughts from you, buddy?
No, I think everything has been said. It's been good to be here with you, us four, for the first show of the season. Let's go.
Well,
and
we're
then
going to start as we meet.
Amazing turnout as well. I think we had like almost 20 people at one point watching. So thank you everybody for joining it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining and commenting.
Good to see some faces from near and far.
That's right.
That's
cool.
definitely.
Obviously, thank you massively to Nick for the money. We really do appreciate. It helps us pay for all of this, and that's great. So thank you. Yeah, no, that's it. Back soon. We'll probably do our annual draft live mock draft, because that's always kind of fun.
Yeah, I was going to say,
I forgot about that.
Yeah, we need to do that. It's always good.
Yeah, so don't worry.
Yeah. We'll do that, and the award show. So, I mean, the link is still up somewhere. It's probably pinned on Facebook. It's on Discord. Go and find the league. Go and vote for the award from last season. Hold on if you want to forget about it and move on to the next season. But we'll tell you who the winners are, and then we'll move on from that season and look ahead to the draft. That's next.
So yeah, I think that's it for today's show, Faithful. As Najee said there, stay tuned. We have a lot planned. Thank you to everyone who joined us live, and also to those watching back later. We do massively appreciate the support. As the chaps have said, it's been a hectic start to free agency for the Niners. We head towards draft season. We will be back with everything the chaps have said. A mock draft show, lots of talk about your draft crushes. If you've enjoyed the show, make sure to do all that good stuff. Like, subscribe, turn the notifications on. And all that is left for me to say, chaps, is thank you for joining me. The awesome foursome is back. Stay safe. Go Niners.
Go Niners.
Bang, bang, Niner gang.
We love the San Francisco 49ers deep in the heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, deep Clark. Garrison Hurst, stiff farm going 99. Don't get it twisted, one and all with prime time. John Taylor, Jerry Rice down the